Have you ever stopped to think about what it really means to come back from war? I'm not just talking about stepping onto American soil again, hugging your family, or receiving applause at the airport. I'm talking about what happens when the cameras stop rolling, when the flags stop waving, and you find yourself alone in the dark, trying to sleep in a bed that feels too strange, too quiet, too dangerous. This is the story of a soldier, let's call him Marcus, who survived the hell of Afghanistan. He returned home on a sunny July afternoon in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The airport was packed. Signs read, "Welcome home, hero." Children waved little flags. His wife, Jennifer, ran toward him with tears in her eyes. His two young children cried out, "Daddy, Daddy," as if he had never left. And during those first few minutes, Marcus even managed to smile. He shook hands with strangers who thanked him for his service. He posed for photos. He felt the warmth of the sun on his skin, something he hadn't felt in over a year in the Middle Eastern desert. But then, night fell. And that's when Marcus discovered that the war hadn't been left behind. It had returned with him, inside him. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you, and perhaps even make you rethink everything you thought you knew about courage, about pain, and about the true meaning of coming home. That first night, Marcus couldn't sleep. Every creak in the house felt like a threat. Every car noise on the street outside made him jump out of bed, his heart racing, his hands trembling. Jennifer woke up startled to see him standing, sweaty, his eyes wide and fixed on the window as if he were waiting for something or someone. "Honey, it's okay. You're home," she whispered, gently touching his arm. Marcus just nodded but couldn't lie back down. He spent the rest of the night sitting in the living room, in the darkness, reliving scenes that no one should carry in their memory. And that was just the beginning. In the following days, Marcus tried to resume the life he had left behind. He tried to be the loving husband, the present father, the man who went to the neighbor's barbecue, who watched American football on TV, who laughed at jokes during family dinners. But inside, there was an abyss, a void so deep that even he couldn't understand it. Have you ever felt lost in your own life? As if you were just observing everything from afar, without really being present? Marcus knew how to shoot. He knew how to lead. He knew how to survive in enemy territory, but no one taught him how to deal with the deafening silence of a peaceful home. No one prepared him for Jennifer's worried looks when he couldn't hold his own children without trembling. No one told him that the sound of fireworks on the 4th of July would throw him to the ground in panic, thinking he was under attack again. The real battlefield was inside Marcus's own mind. And unlike the wars outside, this one had no clear rules, no visible allies, no defined front line. It was an invisible, silent, devastating war. And thousands of American soldiers face this same battle every day, far from the spotlight, far from the honors, far from any recognition. But here's the truth that few talk about. What happened to Marcus after that day at the airport is a journey that goes far beyond pain. It's a story about rebirth, about discovering that even when everything seems lost, there is a way back. Not to the person you were before, because that person no longer exists, but to someone new, someone stronger, someone who has learned to transform the deepest scars into sources of power and purpose. And now you're going to learn every detail of this impossible transformation. And now you're going to learn every detail of this impossible transformation. But before we continue, I need to tell you something. If you've made it this far, it's because this story is resonating with you in some way. Maybe you know someone who has gone through something similar. Maybe you yourself carry invisible battles that no one sees. Or maybe you simply believe that stories like Marcus's need to be told, heard, shared. And that's exactly why I'm asking. Leave a comment below about what has touched you the most so far. It can be a word, a phrase, a memory that came to mind. Have you ever been through this? Do you know someone who faced this silent war after returning home? Your voice matters. Each comment below isn't just a number. It's proof that these stories have power, that they connect people, that they save lives. And if you feel that this content makes a difference, that it deserves to reach more people, click that like button now, seriously. It may seem like a small thing, but it's what makes this video reach thousands of other people who also need to hear this message. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. Real, profound stories that truly move us. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because every week I bring you stories of overcoming adversity, of transformation, of people who have risen from their own ashes. Stories that don't appear in the news, but that need to be told. This is a space for those who believe that pain can be transformed into purpose. And I want you here with me on this journey. Now, let's get back to Marcus's story, because what happened in the following months was something that neither he nor Jennifer nor anyone around him expected. Now, let's get back to Marcus's story, because what happened in the following months was something that neither he nor Jennifer nor anyone around him expected. But to truly understand this transformation, we need to go back in time. We need to know who Marcus really was before all this happened. Because the hidden truth behind every great change is always rooted in who the person once was, in the choices they made, the dreams they nurtured, the life they built before everything crumbled. Marcus grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, one of those small towns where everyone knows everyone, where you've been buying bread at the same bakery since you were a kid and the owner still remembers your name. He was the kind of kid you'd see playing soccer in the street until sunset, running barefoot in the summer, helping his dad fix the car in the garage on Sundays. Marcus's life was simple, and he liked it that way. At school, he played American football. He wasn't the best on the team, but he was dedicated. He woke up early to practice, studied the plays, and gave his all in every game. His classmates liked him. The teachers respected him. He had that kind of presence that didn't draw much attention, but when you needed someone, he was there. You know that friend you call at 3 in the morning because your car broke down and you know he'll show up? That was Marcus. After high school, he started working in a mechanic's shop with his uncle. He had skillful hands. He understood engines, tools, how things worked inside, and he was proud of it. They weren't grand ambitions, but they were his. He dreamed of owning his own shop someday, marrying Jennifer, that beautiful girl from church he'd known since he was 15, having children, building a stable, honest, peaceful life. Marcus didn't need much to be happy. He had everything that mattered right there, in that small town that fit in the palm of his hand. But then came September 2001, and the whole world changed. Marcus was 18 when the towers fell. He remembers being in the workshop, his hands covered in grease, when his uncle turned on the old TV that sat in the corner. Everyone stopped. No one spoke for minutes. They just watched. And at that moment, something changed inside Marcus. A restlessness, a calling he couldn't explain, but which he felt in his chest like a weight, like a responsibility. In the following months, he saw friends enlisting. You saw the army commercials on TV. He heard the speeches about serving the nation, protecting freedom, making a difference. And Marcus, with that small-town boy mentality that believed in honor, in duty, in doing what was right, made the decision. He was going to enlist. Jennifer cried when he told her. Not from sadness, well, not just sadness, but from fear. "We've barely started our life together, Marcus," she said, holding his hands. They had just gotten engaged. They had plans, a small wedding in the spring, a modest house near family, children, a future. And now Marcus was saying he was leaving. This was going to war. But he promised. He promised he would return. He promised it would be soon. He promised they would have the life they dreamed of as soon as he returned. And Jennifer, because she loved that man in a way that only those who truly love understand, said yes. She said she would wait. She said she would pray every day. And that's exactly what she did. Basic training was tough. Marcus had never been tested like that before. Physically, mentally, emotionally, but he endured it. He adapted. He became a soldier. And when he finally received the order to deploy to Afghanistan, one part of him was ready, prepared, confident. The other part, the part that was still the boy from Fayetteville, trembled inside. The farewell at the airport was the hardest thing Marcus had ever done. Jennifer was wearing that blue dress he loved. Her eyes were red, but she was smiling. She smiled because she needed to be strong for him. "Come back to me soon," she whispered in his ear as she hugged him. "I love you." Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He wanted to say so much, but he could only repeat, "I love you too, and I'll come back. I promise." He never imagined that, in just a few years, everything he knew would turn to dust. Afghanistan was nothing like Marcus had expected. The first few weeks were about adapting. The suffocating heat, the sand getting everywhere, the constant noise of helicopters, armored vehicles, voices shouting orders. But Marcus focused. He made friends. He trusted his comrades. And he tried to keep his mind focused on the mission, on the promise of returning home. But war has a way of shattering all illusions. The first time Marcus saw real combat was on a routine patrol in a village south of Kandahar. They were checking an area, talking to the locals, when everything exploded. Literally, an improvised explosive device, a bomb hidden in the road. The noise was deafening. The shockwave threw Marcus to the ground. He tasted blood in his mouth. His vision blurred. And when he finally managed to get up, he saw chaos, men screaming, smoke everywhere. And Johnson, the guy who slept in the bed next to his, who showed him pictures of his newborn daughter every night, was on the ground, motionless. Marcus ran to him. He tried to stop the bleeding. He shouted for help, but it was too late. Johnson died there on that dusty road, thousands of miles from home, holding Marcus's hand. And it was at that moment that Marcus understood war is not heroism. War is loss. War is chaos. War is seeing pieces of people you love scattered on the ground and not being able to do anything. And that was just the beginning. In the months that followed, Marcus saw things the human mind wasn't made to process. He saw friends being killed. He saw innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. He saw children carrying weapons. He had to make impossible decisions. Shoot or be killed. Trust or suspect. Save one or leave another behind. Each explosion took a little bit of who he was. Each mission ripped away another piece of his humanity. He stopped writing letters to Jennifer. Not because he didn't love her anymore. He did. But because he didn't know what to say anymore. How could he explain that he was changing? That the boy she knew, who fixed cars and dreamed of a simple life, was dying a little each day? How could he say that he was afraid that when he returned she wouldn't recognize him anymore? Marcus served his time. He survived. And when he finally received the order to return, he should have been happy, relieved, grateful. But the truth is, he was empty, as if he had left his soul there in the desert, buried along with Johnson and all the others who didn't come back. And then came that day at the airport, the flags, the applause, Jennifer running towards him, the children, who were now 2 and 4 years old, shouting, "Daddy!" Marcus smiled. He hugged her. He thanked her. But inside, he was screaming, because he knew. He knew the war wasn't over. It had only changed scenery. The first few weeks at home were strange. Jennifer did everything to make him comfortable. She cooked his favorite meals. She arranged his room the way he liked it. She avoided making noise when he tried to sleep, but Marcus couldn't sleep. Every night was the same. He closed his eyes and saw Johnson. He saw the explosion. He saw the faces of the men he killed. He heard the screams. He smelled the blood and gunpowder. He began to avoid crowded places. Supermarkets made him anxious. Restaurants were a nightmare. Any loud noise, a car door slamming, a plate breaking, fireworks, threw him back into combat zone. Jennifer tried to understand. She tried to be patient, but she saw her husband drifting away. She saw the man she loved becoming a stranger. Family dinners were silent. Marcus sat at the table but wasn't present. He looked at the food without really seeing it. He answered questions with monosyllables. The children tried to approach him, show him drawings, talk about school, but Marcus barely reacted. It wasn't that he didn't care. He simply couldn't connect. It was as if there was a glass between him and the rest of the world. He saw everything happening, but couldn't touch it, feel it, participate in it. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety, depression. The doctors at Veterans Affairs gave names to what Marcus was feeling. They offered medication, therapy, but Marcus didn't want help. He was a soldier. Soldiers don't ask for help. Soldiers endure. Soldiers are strong. So he swallowed it all. He kept it inside, and he continued pretending he was okay. But he wasn't there. Marcus tried to return to work in the workshop. On the first day, the sound of a pneumatic tool suddenly made him dive under a workbench, his heart racing, his hands trembling. His uncle found him there, huddled up, eyes wide. He said nothing. He just helped Marcus to his feet and told him to go home and rest. Marcus never returned. Jennifer tried to talk to him. "Marcus, you need help. You can't go on like this." But he would explode. He would yell that he was fine, that she didn't understand, that nobody understood. And then he would lock himself in his room, consumed by guilt for having yelled at the woman who only wanted to help. Weeks turned into months, and the situation only got worse. Marcus started drinking. At first, it was 1 beer to relax, then 2, 3, half a bottle of whiskey. He said it was to sleep, to forget, to silence the screams inside his head. But the alcohol only made everything worse. He became irritable, distant, aggressive, not physically, but with words. He said things he didn't mean. He hurt the people he loved. Jennifer endured as much as she could. But one night, Marcus remembers perfectly. She sat on the edge of the bed, tears streaming down her face, and said, "I can't take it anymore, Marcus. I love you, but you're not here. You came back from Afghanistan, but you're not here with me, and I don't know what to do anymore." It was at that moment that Marcus realized he had survived the war outside, but he was losing the one inside. He had defeated armed enemies, overcome ambushes, saved lives on the battlefield. But he couldn't save his own. He couldn't save his marriage. He couldn't be the father his children deserved. He couldn't be the man he promised to be. And for the first time since he returned, Marcus cried. He cried for real, not those silent tears that flow alone in the early morning, but a deep, painful, desperate cry, the kind of cry of someone who has hit rock bottom and doesn't know how to get out. Jennifer hugged him, and in that hug, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope, small, fragile, but alive. The next day, something unexpected happened. Marcus received a call from an unknown number. It was David, a guy who had served with him in Afghanistan. They weren't close, but David had heard that Marcus was back and wanted to meet. Marcus almost refused, but something, perhaps the memory of Jennifer's embrace, perhaps the desperation of having nothing left to lose, made him accept. They met at a small cafe in downtown Fayetteville. David was different, lighter, more present. And when Marcus asked how he was coping with everything, David was direct. "Bad, man. For a long time, I was bad. But I found help, and it changed my life." David told him about a support group for veterans that met every Tuesday night at a local church. Nothing religious, just a safe space where veterans could talk about what they were going through without judgment. At first, Marcus resisted. "I don't need that," he said. But David didn't insist. He just left the address on the table and said, "If you change your mind, we're there, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Marcus kept that piece of paper in his pocket, and for days, he looked at it. He thought about throwing it away. He thought about leaving. He thought about continuing to pretend he was okay. Until one morning, Jennifer saw the paper on the floor and asked what it was. Marcus told her, and she, with that look that only she had, held his hand and said, "I'll go with you if you want." And so it was on a Tuesday evening in November that Marcus walked through the door of that church. There were about 15 people in the room. Men and women of different ages, some with visible scars, others with scars that only showed around their eyes. And when Marcus sat in that circle for the first time since he returned, he felt he was among people who truly understood. He didn't say anything that first night. He just listened. He heard stories that seemed to mirror his own. He heard pains he thought only he carried. He heard truths that no one outside that circle could understand. And in the end, when everyone got up to leave, one of the veterans, an older man named Robert, approached and said, "You're not alone, brother, and you don't have to carry this alone." Marcus returned the following Tuesday, and the next, and the next. And little by little, he began to speak. He began to share. He began to release the weight he had carried for so long. It wasn't easy, it wasn't quick, but it was real. Along with the support group, Marcus began individual therapy with a psychologist specializing in PTSD. Dr. Mitchell was a veteran as well. He understood. And it was he who taught Marcus that seeking help was not a weakness. It was the bravest thing he could do. The journey of rebuilding was slow. There were days when Marcus wanted to give up, days when I thought he would never get better, but he kept going, one therapy session at a time, one group meeting at a time, one day at a time. He stopped drinking. It wasn't easy, but with the support of Jennifer and the other veterans, he managed it. He started sleeping better, not every night, but some. And those few nights were already a victory. He began to reconnect with his children, to play with them, to read bedtime stories, to be truly present. Jennifer saw the change. It wasn't overnight, but she saw it. She saw her husband slowly returning, not the same Marcus as before, because that Marcus no longer existed, but a new Marcus, a Marcus who had been through hell and had chosen to fight his way out of it. Marcus also found a new purpose. He began speaking at schools about veteran mental health. He started helping other soldiers who were going through what he had gone through. And in that process of helping others, he continued to heal himself. Today, Marcus still carries the scars. He still has difficult days. He still sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night with his heart racing. But he has learned to cope. He has learned that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to live with the pain in a way that it no longer controls you. He went back to work, not in the workshop. That chapter was closed. But he found work with a non-profit organization that helps veterans reintegrate into civil society. And every time he sees a veteran taking those first steps on that healing journey, he remembers where he was and where he is now. Marcus didn't revert to who he was. He became someone even stronger, someone who knows pain, but also knows hope. Someone who knows that the hardest battles are the ones no one sees, and someone who proves every day that transformation is possible. But the truth Marcus discovered, and that he wants everyone to know, is that he's not an isolated case. There are thousands of Marcuses out there, thousands of veterans who returned from war but continue to fight invisible battles. Studies show that about 22 American veterans take their own lives every day. 22 per day. Let that sink in for a second. But here's another truth. Help exists. Community exists. Hope exists. And every veteran going through this needs to know that seeking help is not weakness. It's the bravest decision you can make. It's the first step toward rebuilding the life you deserve. If Marcus managed to rise from the ashes of war, anyone can win their own battles. Not alone, but with support, with community, with persistence. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because Marcus's story isn't just about him. It's about all of us. It's about how pain can transform into purpose, how scars can become sources of strength, how rock bottom can be the starting point for something greater. Comment below, Renaissance is possible. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because Marcus's story isn't just about him. It's about all of us. It's about how pain can transform into purpose, how scars can become sources of strength, how rock bottom can be the starting point for something greater. Comment below, Renaissance is possible. And look, if you've made it this far with me, I know this story touched you in some way. Maybe you're going through your own invisible battles. Maybe you know someone who needs to hear that there is hope on the other side of the pain. Or maybe you simply believe, like me, that real stories of transformation need to be told, shared, and passed on. If this type of content resonates with you, stories that truly move you, that go beyond the superficial, that show the strength that exists within ordinary people, subscribe to the channel here. Every week, I bring you more stories like this. Stories of people who fell, who got back up, who proved that it's possible to start over. And I want you here with me on this journey. Leave a like on the video too. Seriously, that's not just a number to me. It shows that this kind of message is reaching those who need it. And if you've stayed with me until the end, comment, "I'm with you until the end." I read all the comments, and it shows me that we're building something real here. There's a video over here that complements this topic, another story of overcoming adversity that will show you that no matter how hard you fall, you can always get back up. Click and continue watching over there. See you in the next video.